What's up, everyone? It's Whack. I welcome you to week. What fucking week is? I think this is just semifinals. Or not semifinals. This is quarterfinals. Yeah. Because last week was just the first round of playoffs, and the week before was my bye week because I made it to top. I think I was like top 4, and I didn't need to play. So yeah, this week we're up against what the hell is his name? His name is Legendary Baseball Kid in CLDL. It's fucking S dot dot dot. What the hell? I don't know. I'm worried if I click on Showdown that it'll show the end result of the game. But anyways, we're up against another Terapagos. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I feel like I handle everything else pretty fine. I've handled countless Mega Scissors. I've handled countless Tapu Kokos. I've handled countless like Whiskors, Rotom Washes, Clefable, Goldingo. Like everyone has like the same team. Honestly, I felt like my team was pretty like different than most people's, but I think Barrigo had a really similar team to me. But other than that, a lot of teams went like Coco, Mega Scissor route, which was kind of boring. And then I had like the Tapu Fini. I think I might have been like the only Tapu Fini that made it to like playoffs. Or like one of the only Finis that made it to playoffs. Maybe no one else really drafted it, but I found a lot of use in Fini this season. But this week I ended up bringing my top 3 with Glow King, Treads, and Lopunny. I'm not really going to go into their sets because they're pretty much similar to what I have been running. With Torn, it's actually a sunny day again for the Gouging Fire win. I saw Gouging Fire at +2 can KO Terapagos. So I was like, okay, I'll take that. And yeah. Getting into the game. Let me turn off the sound. So he ends up bringing Mega Scissor, Clefable, Latios, Terapagos, Rotom Wash, and Sneasler. Not really sure why he chose to not bring Coco. I feel like a lot of people haven't been bringing Coco to me, but when they do, like Fact Luigi kicked my ass with the Coco, even though I don't think it had a good matchup. Potentially it's because I have Treads plus Mega Lopunny is faster than it, so maybe that's why, but it was still a little bit annoying to prep for. Wait. What? Is this one? Okay, there we go. So I'm going to lead with my Slowking. I saw that he didn't really have a switch into Slowking, and at this point I was like, damn, if I just ran like Toxic Slack Off Slowking with like Fire Blast Sludge Bomb, like I just kind of instantly win the game. But it couldn't have been that simple, huh? So he's going to U-turn with Scissor. That does a lot of damage. I am going to Fire Blast the Clefable. He has some leftovers and then gets up Rocks as I Chili Reception into Iron Treads. And I'm just going to spin even if it means that he goes Rotom Wash and I only get some chip on Rotom Wash. Rapid Spin does 15% to Clefable, which is kind of a lot. And the Alluring Voice confuses me. I always love the weird like Alluring Voice text. I'm going to go try to hit the Clefable through Confusion, though. Heavy Slam does KO, and the reason why he stayed in is because he thought I'd have Iron Head, but I'm not really sure like why he'd stay in the first place when Rotom Wash is like so free. Maybe he thought I'd have like Volt Switch and I just Volt Switch out, but I'm not really sure. But for now, I'm in a really good spot. Torn's going to close combat into my... Scissor's going to close combat into my Torn. Then he's going to go into Rotom Wash as I Sunny Day. And I'm going to go hard Meowscarada because this is my plan. He does do Toxic, though, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of annoying. Then he's going to Protect as I Flower Trick. Turn the Pure Grass type. And then I'm like, okay, I think here he's going to go hard Scissor, so I'm just going to go back into Torn. And he does go hard Scissor, which is nice. And then he goes back into Rotom Wash on the Heat Wave. That's about 20%. And then I'm going to taunt Rotom so it can't like do annoying things. But he ends up Volt Switching. I'm like, damn, that was like my opportunity. Meowscarada's going to come in on the Latios as he Luster Purges. I knew that I might lose my Jetpack here, but I was like pretty certain he'd Luster Purge. So that gave me the switch in. He's going to go Scissor. And I'm really regretting not having U-Turn on this because there's so many times I want to just click U-Turn and react to what he does. But I can't do it because I'm running Acrobatics for fucking Sneasler. But yeah, I'm going to knock off, go back into Torn on the U-Turn. My Torn's pretty bulky as well. Rotom Wash is going to come back in. I'm going to Sunny Day on the Hydro Pump. And go into Meowscarada. This time he Volt Switches. I'm like, perfect. This is my opportunity. I have 6 turns of Sun with a Gouging Fire. He's going to Leftovers back up to full. I'm going to Dragon Dance because this is my plan. I'm just going to Dragon Dance on his Toxic. And then I sub. And at this point, he can't actually break my sub with anything. So I'm going to Dragon Dance. He's going to Hydro Pump, which does land. And I'm going to go for another Dragon Dance, which is a little bit greedy as he Volt Switches. And Volt Switch does break my sub. Now he goes into Sneasler. I'm like, okay. Sneasler dies. Nope, it's Sash. And he Dire Claws, which is great. And he gets the Poison, which is great. Dire Claw will kill me. Because he was Sash, I'm assuming he had Close Combat. Close Combat would have killed me, I believe, even if he didn't get the Poison. So it's just kind of like I didn't play around this very well. So now I lost my Gouging Fire for pretty much no reason. Like the Sneasler, I was not really worried about at all. But that was my opportunity to set up with Gouging Fire right there. Now that he knows that I was Sunny Day Torn to get Gouging Fire up with Substitute on the Rotom Wash. So at this point, I'm like, I think I can maybe win this still. It's not completely over yet, but I do have to go. I go Lopunny. I thought maybe I went Slowking and like click Fire Blast. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna Fake Out into the Scissor, and I'm like, oh shoot, he has Close Combat. And I don't kill Fire Punch just yet, so I have to go into Torn on the Close Combat. His defenses will drop, and I'm expecting him to go hard Rotom here. He was never gonna U-turn, so I was like, oh, he'll go hard Rotom, and he's gonna Volt Switch into Latios. I was expecting him to go Latios, and I'm like, okay, I'll get the Sludge Bomb. I get the Poison here, which is great, as he Luster Purges. I'm going to Chilly Reception to get my health back. Go into Iron Treads for some reason. Did I go Treads and then did I, like, double into Meow or what? No, I was just completely fine with Treads taking damage there. I think at this point, I was completely fine with Treads taking damage. I really did think about clicking Hard Earthquake there, but I was a little bit too... I thought maybe it was a little bit risky, considering Rotom Wash could come in, but I guess what is Heavy Slam doing to Rotom Wash anyway? So at this point, I'm just kind of struggling to beat this Rotom Wash, because it's just kind of pivoting around. My Slowking doesn't have Slack Off. Instead, I ran Chilly Reception, which I don't really regret running Chilly Reception. I just think maybe I didn't need like all my coverage moves. I don't know. I probably would have ran Slack over Chilly. But this game's going on much longer than it needs to, I feel. It's going to go into Scissor as I let Meow die. I felt like having a Poison Meow against a Scissor that's just kind of spamming U-turn is just kind of death fodder at this point. He's going to go into Latios on my Fire Blast, which does get the crit, which I suppose is nice. I'm going to go hard Iron Treads on his Draco Meteor. Treads is my like most sackable member because at this point I'm going for the win with Mega Law plus Slowking. Close Combat will kill my Treads. I did think about going Slowking there, but I decided not to. I go to Slowking here though, and I'm not really sure why. I think the correct play might have been to go Lopunny and click Fake Out. I think the reason I didn't is because it put me in a worse spot against Scissor. And then it just put me in like a pivoting kind of thing. He's going to spin as I Chilly Reception into Mega Lopunny because I'm not poisoned yet. And I can always take a hit from this. I will Fake Out. I think I could have maybe Close Combated. But because he had spun, if he stayed and clicked Terra Starstorm, then I died pretty much to 2 Terra Starstorms. Close Combat will do a lot to Rotom Wash as he gets off a Toxic. And then I'm like, he's definitely clicking Protect here. So I'm going to go into Slowking. He protects. And I'm like, I think I can still win from this position. He protects again for some reason as I chili out into Lopunny. And I'm like, perfect. I can close combat something. He goes into Scissor on the close combat. And I think I could potentially stay in and Fire Punch. He actually hard switches into Rotom, which is crazy. I thought maybe he'd just close combat there. But no, he's going to protect and get his health back. I think he's realizing that Rotom Wash having leftovers is his win con. And you know what? It really sucks, though, because I hate losing to Rotom Wash because that mon is so bad when I use it. But he's playing with it really well, preserving it. And Rotom Wash is a really good counter to Torn. Like, Torn just really can't do anything to Rotom. Unless I'm like Life Orb Sludge Bomb, which I wasn't in this game. I go for the Sludge Bomb until I get the Poison. Thankfully, I get the Poison. But at this point, I think it might be a little bit too late. I go into Torn on the Terra Starstorm, which I do tank pretty nicely, actually. And Terra Starstorm again. And at this point, I go into Mega Lopunny. I click Fake Out for the damage. However, he's fucking leftovers Terrapagos for some reason, which does kind of work in his favor because he ended up living an extra like 3 turns, whereas I think if he wasn't leftovers, I just won the game. But at this point, yeah, U-turn does so much damage that it just doesn't really matter. I think if I wanted to win, I had to go for like a Sludge Bomb Poison and then hope that he missed Hydro Pump, because I think he might have to land a Hydro Pump to win. However, he protects on the Sludge Bomb, and I'm not like Black Sludge or anything. Fire Blast isn't going to do anything. The reason I clicked Fire Blast there was I was going for the throw if he were to Volt Switch into Scissor, because I thought maybe I could win if he Volt Switched into Scissor and then I killed it with Fire Blast. But he played correctly. Like, he just stayed in and clicked the Hydro Pump until he died, basically. But he will win the game, obviously, because I don't have any mons left. They're all dead now. And he will win. GG's. I feel like I played decently well. There's a couple things I regret doing. Like, I think for the most part, I just regret setting up to +3 with Gouge. I think +2 is enough. And going for Chip on Rotom Wash was clearly the play, because if I just chipped Rotom Wash, like, everything else was pretty much dead anyways in the sun. I guess I wanted to kill Latios, but I think maybe on Gouge, like, I had the setup correct. The entire plan was to set up on Rotom Wash and try to win. But I think maybe instead of having Morning Sun, I should have had a Dragon move for Latios, and then I would have only gotten to +2. Probably would have ran, like, Scale Shot or, like, Dragon Claw. Or even, like, Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe would have, like, low-key saved me against Sneasler if I had it, but I clicked Morning Sun. However, Dire Claw is just, like that, I suppose. However, it didn't really matter because he was Unburdened Sneasler. I thought maybe when he went into it that he'd be, like, Fake Out Unburden. But no. Sash was just a good bring. I definitely should have seen that coming. Also, Dire Claw with Unburden is pretty crazy. But I guess, like, maybe you don't want to miss a Gunk Shot, but I don't know. It's whatever. But, yeah. Anyways, I think this team... Wow, that's the draft that I'm doing. This team was really great. This was one of the most fun teams I've ever gotten to use. And yes, I know, like, all the mons are broken. I also never used Gengar, and I didn't use Sawsbuck. But, like, every mon on this team, like, had a purpose. Like, I guess except Landorus as well, because I only had Landorus for a week. But, like, Honchkrow really carried out week 1. It helped me against that Roaring Moon. Bellybolt came in clutch many times with, like, static paras and, like, getting a toxic off on stuff like Gastrodon, I think. And a Garchomp, I believe. Even though maybe I lost that game. Mega Lopunny definitely surprised me. I didn't think I'd like Mega Lopunny that much, but I found a reason to bring it, I think, every week. Might have been the only mon I brought every week as well. Actually, I think maybe I brought Treads every week. Treads was just a good mon. Certainly it had, like, interestingly like bad matchups, but I think for the most part, Treads it just did its job. It has coverage to hit everything except Mega Scissor. Slowking was phenomenal as always. I drafted it because I said if I got 100 kills with Glowking that I'd quit draft. I think I got a little bit closer this time. I might be at like 86 kills with it or something, or maybe 87, but I'm not entirely sure. Feeny was amazing. It beat every freaking Gouging Fire, and it beat every freaking Quaquaval ever. I think in this format, I think Gouging Fire was the #1 mon in this format, considering all the bans, which is crazy. Gouging Fire can just, it really keeps up with power creep. But I think for the most part, it's because, like, I think a lot of, like, low-tier mons kind of beat Gouge. Stuff like Sandaconda probably beats it. Like, low-tier grounds really fuck with Gouge, I think. So it kind of struggled against those, but because everyone had, like, high-tier grounds, like Landorus and Gliscor, I think I faced more Gliscor than anything. Gliscor kind of just drops like Heat Crash, which is whatever, great. So I think maybe in like a higher tier format it just does better, or it's just that I found the sauce with Gouge, and I think maybe a Gouge might be like an 18-point mon. I think Mega Lopunny is still amazing, by the way. I was prepared for a lot of people to run like Covert Cloaks against me, but I think at that point like Mega Lopunny wasn't like the best mon on my team to like worry about. I think a lot of people are more worried about bringing in like Scissor for like Meowscarada, not losing to like Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Feeny, which I definitely thought about a couple times, but I didn't do it. Meowscarada and Landorus I'm not going to really talk about because I didn't have them very long and they didn't do anything. Torn was phenomenal. I ran Life Orb in the early weeks before I had like strong special attackers, which I never really ended up getting, by the way. I picked up Gengar as a special attacker like week 2 and I just never used it because I think Gengar is really shit. So I didn't use it, but I think Torn did phenomenal with Life Orb sets. It carried a lot of games. But definitely my MVP is Gouging Fire. I think that mon maybe got like 14, maybe like 12, 13 kills. It didn't get any kills this week because I think my kills this week were... who killed Terrapagos? Slowking killed Terrapagos. It also killed Sneasler. Oh, and also killed Latios. I got 3 kills with Glowking this week. And then Treads got the last kill on Clefable. So yeah, Glowking... I don't know, guys. I'm getting a little bit closer to quitting mons. Once Glowking hits 100, I think I might be quitting. We'll see. Actually, I don't know. Let's see. Where am I at with my stats? All-time stats. I've been really screwing with the prep doc recently. Oh yeah, I did update the prep doc. I'll talk about that at the end, maybe. Galarian Slowking, I have 85 kills with it currently, so it's at 88. And that might be considering me, like, I feel like I might have forgotten to put in my kills last week. I'm not exactly sure. So I might have more, but for now it's at 88 and 38 deaths. Yeah, crazy. But yeah. Oh yeah, and this little update for the prep doc. I simply... Oh, and I guess maybe I have to wait to upload this until after I draft Litleo, but I've put Araquanid. I've noticed recently that Water Bubble doesn't have, like, an ability thing, because you know how some mons have, like, abilities in there, like if I put in Garganackle, not Farganackle, if I put in Garganackle, it shows that it has a Ghost Resist. However, Araquanid, like, it had the water immunity for Water Bubble, or for Water Absorb, but it didn't have the Fire Resist for Water Bubble. So now it actually shows Araquanid as a Fire Resist, which is great, and it should show that on the Matchup Center. I also added Tidy Up. And the reason why I made this as a 8.1 update is because I have, let me just show you. I have, yeah, I got some Radical Red stuff in. I'm not exactly sure why the sprites aren't working the way they are working, but if I can get that working, then that'll be great. But yeah, that's just a small update for the prep doc for anyone that watched. Other than that, this is a completely different draft. We're doing Little Cup right now in SDS. Yeah, I had a lot of fun in CLDL. I can't wait to be back next season. I really hope that they keep this format with the off seasons being like a steal a mom thing. I think it's super exciting to just have like these broken teams, and it gets easier. Somehow it just gets easier to build with every week. And it, like, honestly, because every team was kind of broken, it felt like there was a lot of leeway, and like a lot of teams kind of looked similar, so you could do similar strats for other people, and you can figure out like, hey, this didn't work. Like if my Tapu Fini strat didn't work for Gouging Fire, I could have come up with something else because I faced Gouging Fire like another 2 or 3 times. And I just love that about this format, is you could kind of test things early, and then if they don't work, you can be like, well, if I did this, then it would have worked, and then you can do that thing, and then if it works, then you like have tested your theory. And that's something I liked about the format as well. I think for the most part, my strats worked. The only thing I could not figure out how to beat, I just could not beat Terapagos. I think Terapagos in this format is fucking broken. I think Terapagos should be banned in like regular like Natdex draft. I'm not gonna lie. I think that mon is like borderline just kind of broken. People have figured out how to use it, I think, and how to get it set up. And I just think once people, like, it took a while for people to figure it out, but once they have figured it out, I think it's gotten to that point where I think people should consider banning it, if not make it like an 18, 19 pointer. It might be the same points as like like Iron Valiant or Polt, if not banned. So that's my hot take. But yeah, I will see you guys for SDS season 11 for Little Cup, and then as well as CLDL season 7. I'm definitely applying to that. At this point, CLDL is just my second league, so I'm always going to play there as long as they're playing. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.